You're tuning in to Gone.net.
Hello, welcome back to another Gone.net. I don't have an opener. I don't have something to say.
You don't have a bad dad joke?
No. I just realized as I was waiting for the music to end, I was like,
Okay.
wait, what?
I warned you I was going to make the joke. I'm going to make the joke. That's why I put it. So today we're not going into it yet because John's going to show some stuff, and we're going to just do our usual babble. But today we're talking terminal UIs with .NET or TUIs. Is that what you call them? TUIs?
Yeah, I think that's generally
TUI?
accepted. Yeah.
So my joke was, and John said, "No, don't make the episode this title." I'm going to say it. PG, cover your ears.
Where's the
This is the title should have been Hawk Tui. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Come on. All right.
Something like that.
Whatever.
All right.
All right. I made my joke. I'm good now.
All right. Got it out of your system.
So, fun week. AI is slow. Very slow now.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. It's like, and I don't know. I'm trying to decide if it's like as projects that I work on with it grow, is it that, is that a big reason? I think because it's like just this bigger code base, and like the remote thing that I'm working on, like it's painfully slow to iterate on now.
Yeah.
So I might have to think about like how, I don't know if there's some good approaches to optimize for that, or to just, I don't know, make it like more targeted.
My success has come out of like the bigger project. So the one big project I talked to you about, it's gotten pretty stupid, right? And so I have to be pretty on top of it, because otherwise it's like, oh, I found this thing over here. It sees all the shiny things. And it's like, oh, I saw that over there. I'm like, dude, get back here, right? Copilot, I'm going to say this, GitHub Copilot is terrible for it. And it'll actually be like, oh, I see that thing over there. Oh, you told me this. I'm going to go to that instead. And it'll actually forget about the initial ask, right? And I'm like, dude, you didn't do the initial ask, right? Whereas Claude, either I've got it trained because I use Claude a lot more, but it'll be like, I'm going to come back to that. And I was like, that's a good idea. That's why I told you. You do that after, or spawn another agent, right? Copilot's like, squirrel, and it goes over there and it doesn't come back. And the difference is Copilot is fast, probably because it's stupid. Claude, very slow and looks at the world. And it's like, no, the success seems to come, especially in these big projects, is when you say, this is you look here. You don't, I even do it as so much as this is your folder. You're allowed to go look elsewhere, but you're working there. And that seems to keep it. Yeah, and then when it's like, well, I need a service, or I need this thing that's kind of going to serve then I'm like, okay, yeah, great. You told me about it. I'm fine with it. Go off and do that. But
yeah, I guess like, yeah, when you have multiple like boundary, crossings for some kind of feature or something, like that's kind of where I get stuck right now, where it needs more context, I guess.
Well, and the problem is like you and I both run YOLO, because otherwise you're spending more time clicking buttons. It's terrible, right?
No, it's not productive.
So you have to say, okay, you've got the lay of the world, but then you have to say, this is where you're allowed to play, and anything else you must beg my permission, my mastery.
Yeah.
And that's working decently. For Claude anyways. Copilot is driving me crazy lately.
Yeah, I mean, I almost find Copilot is easier for me to steer at having sub agents and kind of working through stuff. But like Claude, this one project I've started like setting up this whole, like, you maintain a tasks list, right? And then you work through them. Every task should be on its own like sub agent. Maybe you can only run 5 at a time in parallel. Always, your top level job is to orchestrate all of this and communicate back and forth and make sure things are happening. And that's been okay in terms of like not having it do the whole look a squirrel thing, because it will. I can say like, oh, after that, we also want to do a task for this, and it'll like log it, and then the current thing doesn't get lost. But I almost wonder if at this point it's like too, like maybe I need to, I have it moving stuff into like a completed or approved or whatever state, but maybe even that's growing too much. Maybe I need to like do a kind of a reset and be like, listen,
You're managing too much now.
yeah, it's like we're good with everything that's in there today. Like let's just, purge the completed backlog if that's still hanging around, and like let's kind of focus on keeping things lean and fast again. But yeah, the problem evolves, I guess, as you use AI more and more into like the different challenges you have with it, right?
Right. Like I said, Claude slow, slow, like a grunt, and Copilot is like ADHD. He's just like, no, back over here. Or why didn't you finish the original task? Because like I said, I think they learn how you work after a while. I think, I don't know. They seem to, Claude knows a project's going, oh, you're talking about, you're in the wrong. How many times you've been in the wrong repo? You're working on something. And I'm like, oh shit, that was meant for this other agent, or this was meant for this project. And it's like, it's all right. I got you. I already know.
It's like, I knew that already.
So I don't use Copilot as often because I don't have like infinite spend on it. And Claude, I do, right? So Claude will often be like, no, it's okay, man. You meant that. It's over here. And I know that because I worked on it. I was like, yeah, okay.
No, that's true. And I sometimes like intentionally kind of have that set up, I guess, right? Like I have a whole workspace. So I've kind of two things. I have one that I've tried to like create a reusable like home lab kind of skill and workspace template. And then I use a copy of that on my own, and it starts to learn things like where, what are my services, where are my, IP addresses of the things. I have Docker set up, and I use Dockhand, and I use, a certain like reverse proxy and all that kind of stuff. And it knows all of that now. And it has like, stored authentication for some of those things so that it can go work on them. And so as I have more little projects that I want to like have the project I'm working on automatically get hosted up there, I'll just be like, listen, go, we have the home lab project folder, like go work with that, figure out how to deploy this thing. I want to run it, and I want you to be able to do that so that you can iterate on that workflow without me in the middle.
Does it open your browser for you and start clicking things?
It doesn't. No, it's all API. It's using APIs, right? So like I've set it up so that it can like Dockhand has, an API to manage Docker stuff. And so it can log in and do that and that kind of stuff.
I've got it. So because I'm using a different proxy than you are, I've got it. It actually just opens the browser and goes click, 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 click. That's actually what it did. I had that NuGet issue. So NuGet decided to switch to the trusted keys, which is, I guess it's less annoying yearly, but more annoying to set up because they were forcing everybody to take that path. And I said, this is what I need to do. And it's like, yeah, no problem. Can I open a browser? Yeah, you can. And it stole it knew each repository there's where it literally went through all my open source, which was awesome. I opened the browser and created the key in NuGet, said, this is the repo, this is the script. It did it all. And it was done in like 5 minutes. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I don't find that often I get it to need the browser for that kind of stuff. And
because NuGet doesn't have an API, right?
Yeah,
they don't have an API for setting this stuff up. So it was like, yeah, I'll drive it. No problem. It was like, yes, man. So John is showing some cool stuff this week. And then we're going to go to my TUI.
Briefly cool stuff. So I showed this previously. I don't know if I showed this running in VS Code the last time.
You did not.
So the fun thing is so this is the mobile canvas, and you can see I'm clicking around and doing stuff with the iOS simulator here, and
can it see devices, by the way?
No. So not at the moment. There's already obviously a request to do this. The problem is Android will be easier to make that work. iOS is a pain. So iOS, Shocking. This whole thing is using, so Facebook has their thing called IDB, right?
Yep.
They built this thing that basically wraps a bunch of private APIs in Apple's frameworks to do deeper interaction management, etc., of simulators and devices to an extent, but devices, there's only so much you can actually do is the problem. And so I don't think with IDB you can click around on devices and stuff. So you really, there isn't really a good global way for me to like hook in and say like, yeah, I can do like, you know, when you click, it opens a thing, right? There's not really a way to interact that well with that I'm aware of at this point anyway.
Okay.
So devices will be hard. But I wanted to show just quickly, like this is a VS Code thing too. And so like the same code really is effectively running in both places, right? It's ultimately like web. It's all web canvas and browser and stuff. But there is a new version of this out, and it does, it changes a little bit how I capture the video. So it's like higher quality, faster. It's using like the screen capture kit stuff. It's all like streamed to the canvas here at in H.264, and it's nice and it's fast. And the interaction stuff now doesn't rely on IDB even, because I thought, well, rather than have to install
build
this,
my own?
yeah, I mean, Facebook is doing it. It's all open source. Like I can go get the same controls and figure out how to do it myself too, right? So it's all built in now, and it's been working pretty well, I will say. And so the next step is kind of to try and make sure that bugs are dealt with. Like there was a few bugs, like if I went to like the another pane here and then came back, it would all like start reconnecting again, right? Like the web view or the whatever thing in here wasn't like kept alive, and so that's fixed, and those kind of things work now. And this also like,
do you have any code samples you can show, like make it do something? Is this...
I mean, it'd be a bit like I'm not going to do that today. You can go look at the video. It will like do the controlling thing, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Where this brings Allan an MCP server essentially into both the GitHub app and VS Code, and it has a bunch of commands like for interacting and for like looking at the visual tree, the accessibility tree, and that kind of stuff. Which is cool and useful in itself for some development, probably no matter what you're writing code in. But I think the next step here is to bring this together with like the concept of DevFlow, where why not have this live view? Like we already kind of had it in Sherpa Inspector, right, where you can see the screenshot and you can see the visual tree, but Sherpa didn't have like hey, you can interact with it. And you can see if the MCP tool call swipes, for instance, you'll see like the cursor actually, it draws like a big exaggerated cursor with like blue background on it and everything, right? And shows the frame with like a blue background. You can see it if you go to the repo.
Instead of a Claude, you've done a John.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because Claude does that, right? It puts that when it's actually testing,
yes,
it makes that tab group, and then it's bright orange to mean don't touch this screen.
Yeah. And that's what I ultimately wanted to recreate. And I think I actually told it too. I'm like, hey, Claude does this thing where, it interacts like that. Can you do the same thing? I think so you can see it here, right? It's just a screenshot of it, but like the whole like frame gets kind of this blue inset like Claude does. And then like the click event animates and the cursor will like move up if it's a swipe and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
You've definitely been having some fun with this one.
And I had experimented. I'm not going to show it today. I don't know if it's going to be worthwhile actually doing. I experimented with getting desktop apps in the same state. The challenge with that is interaction. So on Windows, like there's not a good way to do the interaction that doesn't like cause the actual window itself to be brought to the foreground.
Yep.
And so it's like you can do it, it works, but it's like the moment that it tries to click, it's like the actual window comes in front. It's just a weird jarring experience.
It does that a lot with Mac OS as well, I find. And it's like, oh, this window was in front. Let me put this to, I'm like, dude, I'm working stuff. Like here, you're supposed to be using DevFlow.
So DevFlow, there should be a new version again now, very like within the last week or two. I did a PR to like try to not have it do that basically, because I get so annoyed when it's ultimately it's like, oh, I'll just use OSA script and I'll, click something with that. It's like, no, you just, because like it captures your cursor, then it moves it, and then inevitably you click something else, and then it takes a screenshot after, and it's like, that didn't work. There must be another problem. And it's just like spirals out of control. And you're like, no, 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 no.
I usually go in and say, dude, I'm trying to do stuff too. And it's like, this was the user's fault.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, whatever. Fine. It's my fault.
And I've in most of my code that whenever I encounter that, I type in like the always remember, like write this down in the agents MD or whatever. Remember, never ever use OSA script to do stuff because you're gonna interact, you're gonna interfere with the user. And it maybe remembers it for a while, but I think I finally fixed a few bugs with Mac at least, where I think it would try the tool and the tool sometimes wouldn't work very well or at all, and then that's when it would bail out and be like, I need to figure out a way to do this. So now it does a little bit more reliably the actual capture properly.
Okay.
Because like the DevFlow stuff would capture like a view within the app fine, but the problem is if it's trying to like look at a toolbar, like a native toolbar or something, it wouldn't be able to capture that previously. So now there's like a thing where it's like it can screenshot the actual whole window and look for what it wants. So DevFlow, go make sure you update it. Always tell your agent to go update DevFlow and pull in the latest set of skills from it and whatever in your repo so that you have it.
Cool. I shall do.
So that's this guy. This one's it's coming along. I've got more plans for it. Like I said, I think merging worlds now is the next kind of step. This thing has, like I said, it has MCP stuff brought in, but it's all like the most generic version of if there's something on screen, it'll get you like the UI window and all the UI kit kind of accessibility information that you'd get with like Appium, which isn't bad. But if you could have like MAUI DevFlow version of that in here, right, that would be a better experience overall. So that's the next step. And then I was going to show this quick. This started almost as a joke to myself, and then I'm like, this might be something useful. So long story short, if you use Docker Desktop or I liked using OrbStack. They're great tools. I don't, Docker Desktop maybe less so. I mean, it's fine, but like, I don't like the UI is confusing to me. And like, it feels like it's full of like ads almost, like it's just, no thanks. But we were told, we got to make sure we're not using these things for like work, because technically if you're using it for work, it's a commercial purpose and like you should probably be paying for a license for it. And I think they changed something to how the licensing works or something recently. So anyway, I'm like, well, OrbStack is kind of the same thing. I don't really use either of those for work stuff. Like it's more my personal stuff I use it for. But if it comes to it that maybe at some point they're like, no, you can't even have it installed because I use my own machine for work. That I've paid for, but I opt into the management so that I can do my job too.
Jeez,
I know. I don't want to have to be like, okay, I can't have this tool now because of that. So I was looking at alternatives. You can get Podman Desktop. It's free and open source, which is fine. But it's more geared to Pod, less to Docker. And like, I don't know, Docker's fine for me. I don't need Pod stuff.
Right.
So I was like, well, what would it look like to make, the equivalent of all these things, right? And so I had it running. It's another Blazor hybrid setup where this is the native, it's like Sherpa, right? This is all native. Yep. There's native toolbars and stuff. It's all nicely baked together, and you don't know, come on menu, I don't need you. You don't really, I mean, you probably can tell in some ways, but it just feels like a native app for the most part, I think.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, let's build this. And then you the icons don't work on the Mac version yet. That's too bad. I know there's a bug. It's not got the right font or something registered. This looks better on.
You should use web. My motion icons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pull those in. Well, here, let me do a quick diversion. You've seen the Mac thing version now, so let's go and just run the web one too, because like
there you go.
If you don't, and like this is kind of the fun thing with using Blazor hybrid is you could run this as just a web server too if you wanted. So it's got all the different like basic operations. You can manage your containers. You can manage your stacks. You can see your stacks. You can go into them. And I don't know. I'm always blown away at how far AI can get with this kind of thing. Like, oh, this one doesn't have dependencies. This one has no compose file either. I picked the wrong one. Let's go into this one.
Let's go to
like I didn't even ask for this, right? It just is like, hey, let's add a dependency graph because I guess that's probably what other things do. And then I've got, like the Docker compose that you can start editing and you can start adding your variables. And I think you can even do like...
Oh, it picks up the variables too.
I think you can even do like... It's supposed to. Oh, it doesn't. It's supposed to do this. I know. I'm going to have to fix that. It's supposed to do like the substitution thing to show you the value that would get injected and stuff like that.
Cool.
But we'll get there. But yeah, it's just like, pretty basic. You can search, pull your images. I think even this like starts searching the different things that you've got. So you can start finding your images. You can make them. You can see your volumes. Oh, the cool thing. Let's go here. So you can go obviously get at the terminal or see the logs. You can get at the terminal. Oh, it broke.
Oh,
no.
The demo gods were not kind.
All right. I'm not going to hit terminal again.
It did come up after. It just...
Did it? Yeah. I don't know. Something weird with it. But the thing that I always liked to be able to do was be able to get into the file system on these things, right? So you can see, and then you can actually edit them as well. You can save the files, do all that kind of stuff.
Docker Desktop does have that now.
Yeah. But it feels like, I don't know, to find it always feel, I hate the UI. I just don't like it.
Fair.
And then the other thing that I kind of wanted is like same with volumes. I want to be able, and I think Docker Desktop does that too, right? You can edit volume files. Now this says you can do it with stopped containers. I'm not sure how well that actually works because I feel like that was always something you couldn't do with Docker Desktop, but all the different things. Oh, topology. I haven't even looked at that.
What is this? I have no idea.
And then the other fun thing is like, I also asked it, like OrbStack, they kind of make a VM on macOS to run the containers in. This right now is just connected to a Podman instance that I had installed. So like whatever Docker engine you want to connect to is fine. You could even do it on a remote one. So you could manage all your servers from one app if you wanted to. But like the Apple container, it can be a thing you run too, and then all your containers are like in an Apple virtualized VM, which is kind of like how OrbStack does it. So this is already at the point where it's like usable. I kind of want to just keep pushing it a bit farther to make it a little bit more usable. You can add all your registries and all that kind of stuff.
Ship it.
And then like obviously make MCP kind of tools from it too, so that if you want to wire your home lab scripts or whatever up to it, it can interact with it directly too.
Yeah, I think we had been talking one point about having an agent running, or like what was it? What was the better term? I hated having to do telnet into everything because then you had to set, or SSH, because then you had to set up a private key, and it was annoying because I just wanted something that I could deploy to. Yeah, kind of like Octopus. Octopus does that, right? You put an agent on, and then it just talks to it through HTTP, and it's like here. Yeah. And it's already shoved down Docker's throat. So like you don't have any of the nonsense, right? You just have APIs that you're able to say, pull this container, or here's your container. And it just did the thing. Yeah. So I think that's.
But, and at the end of this all though, I'm also kind of like, I wonder if it would have been a better path, or what it would be like if you tried to get like Dockhand to just run inside of an app instead. Like you can run it locally on Docker, of course. Yeah. And maybe that would be fine too. Like there's so many ways you can do the same things anymore. It always makes me kind of think like,
I thought Dockhand charged for their API.
I don't know. I mean, my home lab is running against it somehow.
Yeah, no, one day it stops working. You're like, oh
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I guess wait and see.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right. What do you got?
All right. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to make you not look into infinity. So let's do this. Why? What is going on here? Let me share it. There we go. All right. So first things first, before we get to that, I wanted to show off some of the controls because I've still been going pretty nuts with all the controls because I want to have all the controls. John doesn't think a bubble pop's coming. I'm always worried about a bubble pop. So my goal is to have all of the things that I could ever need in one spot. Anyhow, so my latest was, I wanted to have, I had a need personally, and I had a customer ask about slide viewing for PowerPoint. So don't ask me.
You haven't showed me this one yet.
Okay, so this is the spreadsheet.
You linked to it. Yeah, the spreadsheet. No, the spreadsheet I've seen. The slide viewer, I think.
Okay, so
I haven't looked at yet.
So we're going to get to that. So basically, I wanted to have controls that work in MAUI or Blazor for spreadsheet, PowerPoint, and Word. So those three things, and there might actually be a OneNote at some point in the future because I love OneNote. Yeah, I live on OneNote, right? So anyhow. So apparently Claude thought, oh yeah, this is it. Easy. If you do this in with Skia Sharp, it'll be piece of cake and it'll run the exact same between the two environments, between MAUI and Blazor. So this view is identical. It's the identical view in MAUI and it works. The difference is that in Blazor, it's able to capture a lot of this stuff. So I'm able to kind of screw with it. Mm-hmm. But like all the keys work. In MAUI, just because of the way you kind of feed text into Skia, you kind of feed it through an API. So it works. It's effective. But this thing, man, like we got formula
but also
bar.
Like in MAUI, I mean, I guess if you were going to make a desktop app with MAUI that wasn't just using a Blazor hybrid web view, like then maybe it's a little bit more annoying that it's not as great or the same.
Yep.
But true, like if you're running on a phone, like are you really needing to update a spreadsheet? Like I can see viewing one, like minor updates, I guess. It seems like not the right platform to need to do more than that.
So my goal is, again, I'm going to get like a toolbar for this eventually with some formulas, but like you can see that the formula bar is working, multiple spreadsheets. You can add another one.
How does it, like like a formula, for instance? So this is, does it basically parse the Excel file and then export it?
Yep. It's all open source.
But in between, like, how does the engine like do all of the calculations and stuff?
It is basically identical to what Excel does, and it uses something. What's it? Object-oriented XML or something? I don't know. XML. Yeah. So it's all in there. It understands all of the spreadsheets so far. Like it's not doing charts. I'm not at charts yet.
But like, could you do like a pivot table on it?
Not yet.
Okay.
So some of the advanced, this is meant to just be your standard spreadsheets with some formulas.
For sure. I'm only asking because like I'm just really trying to understand how this would even get kind of built out to do the formula part of the engine, right?
But the formula part is there. Like this formula is
but
working.
Could you do, like it can't do like the advanced formulas stuff yet, like VLOOKUP or something like that.
I think it can do some of that. I have to go through it. It's once it starts getting into the advanced graphics, like it'll even reference other spreadsheets, like or other worksheets and stuff. So that's all working.
Yeah.
Once you start getting into the advanced stuff, okay, it's going to fall through right now, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
For what I needed out of the gate, this is pretty damn good, right? Like it's got the formula bar that just works. But I want to get like, if I go and drag this, I want it to do like an auto, what do they call it? Auto formulate or whatever. I want to get it to do the formats properly. So if I click up here, I can change the formatting. So little things still to come. But for my initial use case, this is fantastic. And I mean, it's an editor and a viewer because there's not really a view spreadsheet. It's really, here's the spreadsheet.
It's a spreadsheet and then you can edit. Yeah. This is exactly the kind of thing that really keeps making me think like the future in a lot of cases is going to just be more and more like places like doing their own bespoke solutions to their problems. Like I can imagine a smaller business if you had one engineer that knew how to use AI effectively like this and pull different pieces together, that would solve like most of your business automation needs.
This is what I'm doing, right? So my goal has been to build everything for when the AI cost apocalypse. If it comes down, and it's starting to. I want to have all of the things, all of them. So I'm being greedy. But at the same time, if people use them and we all work together to build them better, like that's the dream of open source, right? Like build the things and then people come along and go, okay, this isn't quite working. Or what about this? Oh, here's a PR, right? Like a lot of people have contributed to like the Shiny libraries over the years. So this is why I do it. It helps people, but in turn it helps me, right?
Yeah.
Because you know, John, you're obviously like the second you see something wrong, you're like, hey, right? I'm actually trying to earn back his respect today because I had a double border and he was like that. Only John would see it, of course. But it was like, there's a double border there. It's a 2 pixel. Actually, you could almost argue this. Are you seeing that? No, good.
My screen is pretty.
Oh, good. Well,
my window is pretty.
He finds
small.
everything. He'll bring it up in a second because I've shown this one right here. John pointed out the uneven,
but also like the lack of margin on the left side. It just my soul is
it's also
dying.
a sample, but yeah. So it's got.
But so listen, the sample is where you have the opportunity to shine. Because the problem is, if I go on a site and yeah, I didn't even mean to. That's great. Well, if I go on a site and I'm looking, so this is what happened when a while back. I'm not going to name names of things, but I looked at a bunch of different options for how I would maybe do an AI chat control for Sherpa. Okay. You didn't have your stuff yet at that point either. But you're closer to the bar, but I don't know if you're quite over it yet.
Okay, fair enough.
I got faith. You'll get there. But I looked at a bunch of different options out there, and I'm like, I could find like I looked at the samples, and I'm like, no, if that's how you're showing the sample, I don't trust that you're going to be where I want you to be in terms of the polish and fit and finish of it. So.
See, but you know, if you complain at me, I go and fix it.
Yeah.
I go and do it. So,
but I'm just saying, like that to me, and maybe I am weird. I know I'm weird, but maybe I'm more alone in being that way. OCD. But I really value the polish of things, and so like immediately that's a turn off to me. I won't use software if I go and look at a screenshot and I'm like, no. Doesn't matter if it's the best in the world otherwise.
Fair. So this is now the document viewer or the document editor. Sorry. So this edits Word documents. You can see I've got spell check plugged into the platforms that support it. So web has one. There we go. Look at that. iOS has one. So Apple platforms have one. And then Android has some bastardized thing that kind of works. But this'll do most of the things. So I've got like tables, alignments, images do work. You can drag, drop stuff in. It's got tables. It's got some shapes. It's got numbering and like it does this thing. So if you highlight words, cause this, I don't know, this is something I do. I don't know if I'm stupid or something, but I'll go I want to highlight this word. So I'll come in and I'll go underline. Right now it's renumbering these. I just found a bug while we were doing this. I don't know why it's renumbering the chart, but whatever. But I wanted to double click on a word and then change the styling of the word or like say, hey, big, right? And it turns out that's actually not as straightforward as you think. So anyhow, this is a very, again, very usable, slight little issues I got to fix. But for what I asked for, and I even aligned the toolbar for you, John. See?
Thank you.
But we still got some stuff. I'm getting there.
Polish yet.
But
there's still some.
What are you seeing now?
Well,
the
just
margins.
Icons. You need icons.
What's wrong with these icons? These are actually.
So the one that's
these
the
ones.
Image, those like why are there
this.
two like line icons that are the exact same? The undo and redo. The down arrows and the drop down are wonky. I'm just you asked.
If you ever want like a guy to go through UI, get John. He will find
do good
most
design, but I know
detail.
I'm not good at like doing the design, but I know when I don't like design.
I love it. It you'll push me to the next level to make sure that there's 2 pixels there. It looks bad.
I just want what's best for you.
So here is the slide viewer. This was one that I was like, okay, I'm in here. I may as well make it. Again, if you're using an app and you just want to see some slides, that's fantastic. It turns out that the engine to run the slides is pretty much the same as Word. So editing it really wasn't, other than it does kind of these grouping, so you can like move the stuff. But for the most part, it's the same flipping engine. Like, so the same toolbar applies. Obviously I'm not doing any animations or sounds, but like the image stuff works. So if you've got an easy spreadsheet, you can come in and edit it. It's fantastic. And to get this, other than it had to add this selection stuff, but other than that, it works fantastic. Love it. Love it. What are you seeing, John?
No. Can you do like video embedding and stuff already too?
No, not yet. Okay. It's everything. The farther you dive, I find the further it gets into like, I think some of the things are still like Windows, or some sort of COM relation. So I don't know, but I'm going to try. I'm going to see how far I can
get. And if you
'cause
ever like load up a PowerPoint on the web version of PowerPoint versus the desktop, like there's still differences in what it is able to do and not, right? And like how proficient it is at things. So,
and I think it's because they support, like if you put it into a document, they can support everything.
Yeah.
Like on the Windows version and even the Mac version, obviously, right? But as soon as you go to the web, you're kind of limited to like what video can render. You have to play by all the web's rules about how that window works, right? So you're probably not going to get like an H265 video running natively in this. I don't know though. I haven't gone that far. First version of this is going to be, here's the base set, and then go into animations and video and a couple other things. And like I said, the document editor definitely got, well, aside from the icons and tooltips, there's still a lot. There's actually a lot in Word, but it's when you start realizing it's just really good at dealing with objects in this thing, right? Like everything is an object. It's pretty easy to work with. And this is all Skia Sharp rendered. So any changes I make to this just work in MAUI. Yeah. So it's good. The tough part obviously in like iOS is how you deal with this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So there is the option to turn all this stuff off. Like I've just got all of the keys turned on right now. So it's a good start. I love it. I think this is going to be like it's for the app that I'm using it in. And then the customer request I have, I think this is going to be like, man, it's great. It's great. Yeah. This is the,
but again, having all that you can build this anywhere.
Having all these parts. And now I don't need to go looking for it or have AI, because this took AI a few hours to obviously do.
Yep.
I don't have to do that again. Now it's just done and it works fantastic. So now for our key topic, after John and I babbled for as long as we did, let's talk TUIs or terminal UIs.
I had mentioned before that I'm becoming TUI resistant at this point.
Which is fine. That I get it. Now they're coming back with a blast, but I think you're right. I think they'll disappear slowly, except for a couple of them, right? So
yeah. So I get the whole like running your code, your like Copilot, CLI, and Cloud Code, and all that in terminal still like that. Don't get me wrong, like that is a pretty efficient way to do it, and most of the actual apps. Now I use the GitHub Copilot app a lot. I primarily use that for my Copilot usage.
Okay.
It is getting better and better and better for sure, but there's still something about when you have enough going on, it doesn't handle the performance super well.
Right.
Memory hasn't been so bad lately. Claude is
a pig. Claude is leaks memory left and right.
App one is not so bad memory wise. It's okay.
So I still use Claude CLI because of the memory leaks in their app. Mm-hmm. It's awful.
I've been actually using like this Paseo. I don't know. Maybe you could get the same functionality from your Warp stuff. Essentially, like I've started shifting some of my agents to run on like my own Mac Mini that I use for like my pool math stuff, and then I connect to it from the app, the Paseo app, from my other machine, and that runs It's a kind of almost a mix, right? It is running like in their app, so like the memory could be a problem, but so far it's been all right.
What I've been doing, because I have a Mac Mini kind of server, like a build server, but I run, like if I want to do anything remote, it's always on. So I have Claude Desktop running there. I actually had Claude Desktop set up an app, restart yourself every 24 hours. Because it would crash I mean, how many times have I complained to you? I'm like, dude, I can't connect. I got to go turn the damn computer off because it's gotten an right, and out of memory because of friggin' Claude Desktop. So now I gave it's like, I could create jobs for you. Great. Create one that'll restart yourself so you can deal with your memory problems.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so we're talking TUIs. There is 2 that I've made recently. And then we're going to show off some of the cool TUIs that are out there. So this is the thing that I've always wanted, is to be able to share files pretty quick. Like just go in, type something in, and up it comes, and then people can go through and browse, right? So let's say I've cloned a repo. So I've cloned a repo here. I'm in the directory of the HTTP server. It's got my local tunnel. It's got, the network tunnel. And then I've got my actual, like, hey, free to the world. You can come in here. Now it's set to read. So anybody seeing this, go for it. You can scan a QR code also to open it on your phone. And then that'll get you into basically a web dev scenario. And so you can go through and see, like, hey, what's in this file? It'll download it just like web dev. Right. Let's see if it'll actually open any. No, I think it's going to. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So it'll actually go through. You can download it. You can see it. This is obviously the browser's rendering this because it is web dev.
Yep.
And it's like instant. Basically, I can go through and I can go.
What?
And this is why I think these things are awesome, because that's it.
The tunnel you're using, that's just like, does that require any
no
setup? It's just like a
Pingy they have a free URL, unlike it. So you don't need a client like ngrok.
Do you have to like log in still or something? Like, do you
Nope.
need an account? You just
Nope.
it just like run. So if I set up your HTTP server tool and I do -- tunnel, that's all I got to do.
Yep.
Sweet.
And it goes. This is only good for 60 minutes.
Yeah,
right. So you couldn't leave this running indefinitely, nor would you want to. I mean, this is a pretty raw access. And because you could set this to full operations, go in here and delete and, all that stuff. For now, it's just a basic read. Actually, I might even replace the fact that it's web dev, because I want web dev is like a protocol.
Yeah.
So I might
you could
change
have
it to an actual file. Yeah,
right.
I might change it to an actual.
Keep it as an option, and then like you can put your own other thing that I'm sure you're going to show yet.
Yeah. So you can have auth on this as well if you wanted to. But again, this is just a command line. This is an HTTP server that I've been kind of working on so that it can run literally everywhere, and I can start and stop it. Whereas ASP.NET is, here is this 400-pound gorilla, and you're kind of at its mercy for starting, stopping, and a whole bunch of things. And
this thing too, like you're giving it it just takes the current folder, right? So it's just like static. So like I've over the years, I haven't for a while needed one, but every once in a while I've been like, oh, I just need like the simplest HTTP server possible that just serves like what's in the directory. Maybe has a couple options or whatever. And there's a bunch out there, but like I needed them from like, I always wanted them in like a Docker container to be like super easy, just like mount a volume, serve it up, because I needed to like get somebody some set of files or whatever. And they all just never worked really well. Like, I don't know what it was. There was problems with everything I would try. So like if this was around then, and you should make a quick Docker image for it too.
Don't need a Docker image. You got, it's a .NET tool.
No, I know, but like, sometimes I just want to I want to go to my dockhand and say, just run this container. Here's a volume to mount it to, serve it up. Like, I want a Docker image for that.
All right.
Right.
I don't know how that would mount the same way, but.
Well, you would tell the path, whatever the path you expect, right? Is the default path. And then you mount your volume to that path.
I guess so. Put it in a Docker container.
Yeah. So that I could do Docker run Shiny HTTP server, and then I add the arguments for the volume. And so you would have by convention like /data or whatever, /www is like the default path it's going to serve from in the container. So I would mount my volume to that. And then I would maybe whatever I could have other you could allow overriding that by environment variables. You could add the other options by environment variables, right? Because you have some other stuff in this, right? You could even do the tunnel thing so that it returns the tunnel.
But you can already you can install the .NET tool in the Docker container and then just spin that up.
But I just want like one that's ready made that I just pull and it works. I don't have to think about it. It's just in the registry. It just pulls down right away.
Something to think about. I didn't think about that. But yeah, this is designed to just be a quick one. Share the files, run it for an hour, run it for your local computer if you want. I tend to have stupid issues with file shares because I've got 6 different systems running. So this is just an easy run it here, share the file, give the link, bing, bang, boom, done. Right.
But it has other, do you have auth on this one too as an option?
Yep.
What do all the options look like?
Let's see if the help works. I used, So it's got, you can create an HTTP S, and it'll create as self-signed. Allow auth changes. Open requires login. You can create user and password, and you basically use basic auth.
Forms auth,
yeah. It's nothing special.
Basically,
you can change the port. You can bind to a specific address. That's if you know what you're doing. You can give a token to Pingy if you want an actual static.
Yep.
So yes, Pingy will take tokens if you have them.
Okay. And then that can use you around.
Yeah, that can use your static and stuff, your static domain, whatever it is, if you want. So it's there. I have a thing with them now, but you don't have to use it. It'll do a free one. It has max upload size, so people can't plunge your server into doom. I made it so you might not want to register a QR code for whatever reason. The QR code's just easy. If you want to pull a file to your device, you scan the QR code, it opens a website and you download the file. So many things. Again, this isn't a pretty TUI. This is a functional.
No, but this is it's useful.
I'd say the TUI is the barcode. It's the barcode.
Yeah,
the QR code.
Yeah.
This took a little while to get.
Yeah.
The next one, and now we're into real TUIs. This one I wanted to show is, so this is DocumentDB. I made a TUI because I wanted one. This is all the rage right now, right? And then Aspire recently, they released a terminal in the Aspire host. And I was like, that would be cool because then I don't need to spin up the admin UI as a different container every time. Like when I'm in a local dev mode, just run this tool, allow me to run this tool in their terminal. So I didn't set that up today because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get going, Aspire in general. But this tool, if you pull up the terminal window in the Aspire dashboard, you can run this right there. It already knows about the database or databases you've configured.
Yep.
And you can just start doing the things. Now, there's still a lot of things I want to do to this guy. But you can do the basic. It sees all of the same stuff you generally tend to see. So here's the document, the structure, the same thing. I've shown the admin UI from web before. It does the temporal.
Yeah.
It does the diffs, though they kind of look weird. It does geometry. This is kind of stupid. I'm probably going to remove it because it's pretty much useless in TUI. But it shows the point, right? So this is some sort of destination point. It does the blobs, but this isn't really viewing. It's more. Let's see if it does. Select a blob first. I'm pretty sure I did, dude. Okay, so we're going to be an asshole about this today. It'll allow you to import and export data just like normal. And it does have an assistant to say, Find me something, right? So I've got this configured. This will run it off to AI. What are you looking for? Give me the first inspection.
That's cool. Right in there.
Scribe type. I don't know what it did there. I think it's reading something, but anyhow, point is that this is a very easy, no deployment scenario. Like it just runs. So my phone is going nuts. Very easy to run in Aspire. Very easy to run here. Just like locally on a database if you want. So
yeah, that's so it's funny how much it's like, yeah, because why not?
Because why not? But it is helpful, right?
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to show. So now as we get into TUIs, is I found this week.
Yeah.
So this is cool. This is, my God, my phone is going nuts. Hang on 1 second. It's driving me nuts.
Everyone's liking and subscribing on the TUI, all the things. So this does YouTube, it does all the other servers, but it doesn't do Apple Music, unfortunately. And I'm sure there's because they don't do an API for it.
Yeah, it does do local files. So here it is. This is just a stream. But
does it whip the llama? It really whips the llama's ass? Yeah,
that was old Winamp. No, it doesn't. But I mean, this is just some stupid stream. You can you might be able to hear it through my mic. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, look at how cool the UI is for this. And okay, so that's Control V. Like it's got all the. I haven't seen this kind of setup in a CLI app in a long time.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty. Rain. Bars.
That's really quite funny.
Like somebody was having fun. This is one of my favorites to scatter, but look at Flame too.
Yeah.
Like, man, somebody was bored. This is pretty cool.
That's crazy. This is, I like this because it's like, I don't know, it's this kind of retro, cool, like fun thing to do. I would maybe use it just because of that.
Yeah.
But in general, like I said, I'm resistant now to TUIs because it's like,
you want it pretty.
Well, why put everything in if I'm gonna, like, especially the ones like, I get it if it's console is different than TUI in a sense, right? Like,
yeah, if
I'm gonna click around with my mouse and stuff and like have like panes and stuff like that, like why not just have an app then?
Fair. But I think it's the deployment scenario though, right? Like this is just grab the file, run it. You don't have to worry about any like DirectX graphical issues. Like God knows if you run a WinUI app, it might, if you've got HDR enabled, then Windows goes nuts, right?
Yeah.
You just want to just run this in CLI, boom. And it looks the same if you're in Linux or in Mac or in Windows. And it just works. Like this app just works. Will I keep it? No, it's absolutely useless because I have, but you're right. It doesn't play Apple Music. Fine. But to be honest, I hate iTunes. Like iTunes is awful. It's an awful interface. It's a memory pig. It has nothing but issues, right?
Yeah.
Like Steve Jobs is probably rolling around in his grave because of the quality of the app that's gone way downhill.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't really use Apple Music on my computer that much anymore.
I use it just because what else is there?
No. I mean, I for sure. It's just I don't end up. I'm on too many calls. I don't really end up with a lot of time to throw music on anymore.
Fair. So this is CLI AMP. It's pretty cool. It does connect to like Spotify, YouTube,
pretty much
YouTube
everything.
Music, Plex, Jellyfin, MB. Yeah. I also like this website. I don't know if you probably can't see this through the stream, but they've got like this kind of retro, like scanline TV effect on all the buttons.
You can kind of see it.
It's I don't know, man. I got to do that on stuff too because it's got like a glow, like an old school TV. I love it. I think it's fantastic. So I wanted to cover some of the frameworks that I've seen. This one I saw, you'll hate this because it's observable based. So this is, I know there's others out there and I know there's biggers, but This is a shout out to Aaron Stannard. Forgive me if I said your name wrong. He is a longtime .NET guy. He runs Petabridge, and he is the owner of Akka.net, which is a popular actor framework. It's basically an on steroids Orleans. Anyhow, he made this terminal framework. The reason I like it is because it's reactive, but it's quite beautiful. It's an actual treat to work with it because it's very view model based. Very key based, right? So I can go in and say, I want to listen to a specific key press, subscribe to it, etc. And then as keys come in, I can start changing the state, right? It's very like MVU-ish in a way.
Yeah.
But it like you can start doing layouts, very also MVU-ish. It just looks, I think this is a fantastic framework. I think it's got pages with routes. So this is called Termina, and I'll put this link in afterwards, but it's pretty nice to work with. Something to check out. If you want a pretty one. So John, you found this guy.
I've used this one.
Yeah. So this is what I made DocDB use because I saw this and I was like, oh my God, when you showed me this, I was like, wow.
I think this is the one I used to do like the MAUI backend, right?
It's the exact one you used to do the MAUI terminal. And it is just awesome. So I did DocDB with this one, which works really fantastic. This is great for like quick dashboards if you just want to see something. I mean, yes, you could do it in a website, but if you don't have a deployment scenario and this just needs to go out and connect to things, look at it. Like, it does everything. It's got colors. It's got the segment bars that looks very much like CLI amp. Themes, although that's a very ugly. This is a good demo though, eh? This is one. Yeah, this is a fantastic demo. There we go. This is old school DOS, right? Like this thing, and the framework is a dream to work with. Also very MVU styled. Look at that. He's even got
that's
movable
wild
windows.
To be able to think of how that's getting rendered. Like,
because you couldn't used to be able to do that with DOS windows, right?
No,
they were very static. Like this is where they popped up, and you didn't have.
Yeah,
and it's crazy how far we've come. Crazy.
Well, and it's all got to be like it's just rendering the whole like screen terminal of of characters or whatever, right? Yeah, that's wild.
So he's got composable controls. There's a data grid already set. Like binding and state is there because again, it's MVU. Theme, debug overlays for FPS. And like
my terminal's only doing 30 FPS. What the heck?
There is a terminal UI, right? So there's the terminal framework. There's a UI framework. And then the ANSI framework. This is what I tried to make the QR codes with. That didn't go well. Anyhow,
everything else. I wonder if it does like, an okay job of like more images and stuff like that. If that's even possible, I don't know.
But this framework, man, it's beautiful. Look at it. It's beautiful for CLI. So yeah, xenoatom.github.io. I will link all this after.
Re-up the MAUI backend because I know when I started it.
I thought you didn't like TUIs.
No, I don't, but I mean, it's still fun. Okay. They have their place. Like maybe that's the better way to say it.
Look at it. Even did this ANSI logo shiny. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
That is nice.
But that is all that I have to show today. And I think TUIs are still awesome.
I'll scale back my harshness of that statement, which is they have their place. It's just that like, I think not everything needs to be a TUI.
Fair.
That's
fair.
That's all. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I think they're beautiful still. They don't leak. Well, they do leak memory.
They do. I was going to say like that's not a thing anymore.
Claude Code was leaking ZH instances on me yesterday. There was like 20 of them running at 99% each. And I was like, gee, I wonder why the jets are going so fast on my computer.
Well, in a while back, like Copilot also leaked like crazy. Like they've fixed a lot of that. But like I remember early on where I'd have terminals that were like 8 gigs, and they'd grow and they'd keep growing, and it was like I have 48 gigs on this machine. How? And I'm only running like terminals.
Yep.
How am I running out of memory? Like this is insane. right?
Welcome to the wonderful world of potential AI slop. They fix them though. They
Yeah.
fix them.
Yeah. And that's not even running models. That's just running the thing that
running
connects
their
to
stuff.
the servers. Yeah. It's like, really? Because that's the next thing, right? And I keep being disappointed that when I bought this Mac, I was like, I made the conscious decision. I was like, listen, local models are not that great yet. This was like a year and a half ago or whatever,
fair,
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can either spend more money on more memory and try to hope that local is helpful at some point, or I can just say, you know what, my usage is all going to be like cloud models anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And that was the money part of it, was where I was like, it's probably that for a while, and it was for a bit, but like now, well, you've been running Quen a little bit, right?
Because I burned through everything the other day, so I was out.
How was your experience so far with that?
It did a pretty good job. Now you give it much smaller tasks, otherwise it infers for quite a while. But if you say like, here's the bug, if you're good with the description, it'll go and read it. It'll produce Claude equivalent stuff. It doesn't go outside of its boundaries. Like Claude will attempt to be like, well, if I do this, it's kind of got a little bit of tunnel vision.
Yeah.
But it works. It does work. It does it reasonably fast. If you throw multiple tasks at it though, you have to have a beast. So I've got an M5 Max with 64 gigs, and the jets were just a going. You could heat my whole room. So you can't go crazy with like multiple tasks. You just really got to give it, this is your prompt.
Yeah.
Do this one thing and then walk away from it, because it's just going to eat everything. I haven't tried I hear Kimi K3 is like all the rage now, but it's also like
there too. But like even
500
has
gigs.
It's
500 gigs
for sure. No, but like now, so like I've learned a little bit, and I'm sure there's people that'll watch this and be like, you guys are idiots. I know more than you.
Fine.
And I'm sure that's true. I've learned a little bit because I've been kind of contemplating, like, do I want to spend some money on getting something that can do more local inference? Because like at this point, it's kind of crazy that I'm like maxing out my weekly session of like the highest plan of Claude, right?
And it's slow.
And it's slow. And I'm not using, like, I get tokens at work, but I'm not going to use those for my personal projects. I know there's some people that I think are still in that world of like, yeah, it's fine. Nobody's bugged me. I'm like, that's never felt right. If it's something that's personal that benefits the product and community tangibly, like I'll use it on Sherpa, I'll use it on, something like that. But to me, that's a different scenario. Like that's something that benefits MAUI, in my mind, and I think it's reasonable to use. But I'm like, should I get something? So like the Quen, the 27 billion one, they call like a dense model, right? And so you kind of need like all of the stuff loaded all the time. And it's generally a lot slower and needs more memory bandwidth to be effective than what they call like the mixture of experts type models that are not like the dense models. So I know like Quen just released their like, was it 125 billion with like 6 active or something, and then there's this like ngram thing that they've also added on to it, which I don't fully understand yet, but it's supposed to kind of help with not needing such fast memory. Like you still need the memory to have the model, but you can kind of load, keep parts of it on slower memory, and it doesn't affect performance as badly. So when you have like these AMD machines that have like the 128 gigs of memory, they're not great for like the Quen, the dense models. They'll be kind of slow at those. And I think like the M5 Max you have, I don't think, like I guess it'd be worth looking up that spec. I don't know what the memory bandwidth is on that thing. And plus you have 64, right? So you're running a lower quant than would fit the whole model otherwise, probably. So you have some memory on your system still. And every time you drop the number of bits, right? Like 16 is kind of like full. 8 is like lower, and then people will go down to like 6 or 4. Every time you drop that, it loses some accuracy in what it's able to do, and it gets kind of more dumb. So like, if we get to the point, I feel like, and I haven't tried Quen myself firsthand much, so I admittedly can't really say that this is accurate, but it feels like we're close to the point where if I have a machine like the new Mac stuff that they've released, right, if I get like a 5, like I know they're expensive up front, but if I get like a 256 gigs, and I start using that, and I could load the full quant of Quen dense model because the memory speed is like crazy good. It's almost as good as like NVIDIA graphics cards. That might start to be a reasonable way to continue the AI train without worrying about the money part of it as much.
So John and I both went through and we priced out what those, so you're talking about the M5 Max Studio, right? The Mac Studio.
The Ultra, whatever it is.
It's a box and so the full thing, and this is without their new 512 memory that's coming. So it was 256. Was 18,500 Canadian dollars. 18,000. Holy shit. And I know a lot of the NVIDIA DGX boxes, they're floating around $7,000 to $8,000.
Yep. Yeah, they're not cheap either.
It's crazy. Like I don't know how this sustains forever, right? Like
I don't know, and I don't think it does, but I think my point is that we are getting closer and closer to the point where a local model is capable enough to still have a lot of the same productivity that we're finding with these state-of-the-art models, that the cost starts to be a little bit less of a like worrying about the bubble popping, because okay, fine, it's $20,000, but if you could pay that and that's your cost and it's fixed,
for businesses it's doable.
Crazy
but
anymore?
How many of those do you need to buy for a business to do just basic UI or basic AI?
For sure.
A lot. It's not. I think that's what people need to realize is that this is why I feel like there is a bubble, because at some point they need to start making money. And so businesses will internalize and then realize, oh, we've got to get new models all the time. So then companies will start charging a fortune for their models, or you got to have hardware to train them. And then you got to have all the hardware to run it. Like, it's a weird time, man.
It is a weird time. I think we're not bubble popping as much as as
deflating.
Some think.
I know that it's a weird time. Yes, you can have these local models. You can spend a fortune on hardware. Will that hardware meet like a user base if you have like a big, SaaS app?
Yeah.
No.
And that's kind of the question right now is like, okay, how many months of Claude Max can you get for the price of one of them? Right.
Yes. Use Claude Max while it's subsidized as hard as you can.
But either that flips and Claude becomes, so expensive that it's like, no, this actually does make sense to buy the hardware, or we kind of converge somewhere in the middle where, because costs are not going to keep rising on this stuff forever, right? Like that's how history has taught us. Like hardware keeps getting cheaper. We will keep progressing that way. At some point, it's gonna level out.
Well, the funny part is that all the hardware that's on back order now for a lot of the cloud providers that are hoarding it and causing the cost to go up, it's already considered old by the time it drops. So like there's already hardware that's advanced like way far ahead, and they're like, well, we haven't even got our previous hardware.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it. Has a warehouse that's full of like, older NVIDIA graphics cards, like server grade, right?
Yep.
And by the time a data center can be built and they actually could physically go from the distributor to the company to installing them, I think you're right. At that point, it's like, these things are already. So maybe we'll see a flood to the market of this kind of stuff as companies are like, it doesn't pay for us to install the old stuff, but maybe like for you and I to go buy one is not crazy.
Give me the toys. I will take the old stuff because
give me your old AMD or not AMD NVIDIA cards that only have 64 gigs of VRAM. I'll take one. Give it to me for half of what you paid for it.
As long as it didn't go through the Bitcoin era where like remember how there was a flood of
Yes.
graphics cards, and they were all toast. Like all the cards are like warped from heating, and like it's like you can't sell this, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? But they did.
It was Bitcoin, and then now it's AI that not only like had the things coming out on the market that were toast, but it's just like the driving of prices, right?
Yep.
It's been unending for years now.
And it went down, and then AI came, and then they went back up, and that's just play on PlayStation. The real.
I just need more memory. Just give me more memory, fast memory.
I'm about hard drive space, but anyhow, I digress.
That too.
All right. Do it, John. Close us off.
Great. We'll see you next time on gone.net.
Ciao for now.